Alright, guys, what's up? Ready for the next part of this crazy ass story? I don't even know if I'm ready for this. Alright. Basically, we just killed our father. And our brother, well, he's gonna hate us for the rest of our life now. And who knows what's gonna happen with our mother. So what do I say about this? It had to be done. What I killed was not my father. None of this was meant to be. I'm tempted to go with what I killed was not my father. What's up, Siam? How you doing today? Hope you're doing fine and well. I think that's what I'm going to go with. What I killed was not my father. There is a shiver down your back, and you suddenly feel the same way you did in the oracle's inner chamber. You turn and look up, half expecting to see a face. The sky is empty, even of clouds, but you know that you are being watched. You recall the god your father talked about, the god that sent him the dream, Dagorus, your father called him. You have never heard of such a god, though he must be one to have twisted your foretold path into this nightmare. My destiny must be reclaimed. My enemy must be found. I must know why this was done to me. You don't remember killing Dad last night, Nintendo? Or did you leave early? I don't. No, you were here for the whole time. I'm pretty sure. Okay. My enemy must be found. Yeah, it was the last thing we did. I think I'm gonna go with my enemy must be found. And that begins chapter 4. Citadel of the Gods. You sit in the dust, a safe distance beyond the village walls, and wait for the decision of the elders to be handed down. It has been this way for hours, but perhaps it is for the best that you have not moved in so long. Even with your talent for healing, your injuries still linger, burning terribly. 7 members of the watch surround you, standing in tense silence. Familiar faces, all of them, yet their duty is plain. After all, if you were to breach the gates, the evil of your crime might spread through the village like a pestilence, so you must be watched. The guards are merely doing their duty. How dare they treat me like a common criminal? I only acted to save an innocent life. My fate once felt like a journey, now it has become a penance. You want to go with 4, Nintendo? I don't know, I'm tempted to go with 3. I only acted to save an innocent life. But, I don't know. If you want to go with the more melancholy option, Sure, why not? Let's do it. As much as you have come to abhor your own fate, your friends on the watch seem to have a similar attitude about theirs. Indeed, you can see graveness in their faces as they stand around you, for they know that the elders may ask that you be executed. What is more, these guards would be the ones to do the deed, and at any rate, attempt it. In the distance, the gate opens at last, and you watch a familiar figure draw near. Megrados takes the long walk to your position and steps into the circle of guards. Your mother will heal, he announces, though another moment in your father's grip and she would have been beyond my help. She rests now in my hut. And what news of the elders? Have they decided my fate? The elders ask only that you keep your distance from the village. Will they truly deny me the right to see my father's funeral? They mean to deny me the right to see my mother? So be it. Not 3. I'll probably go with 2. They mean to deny me the right to see my mother? Licorice, do not make this more difficult than it already is. She is still recovering from her injuries. Would it do her heart good to see her son, knowing that he is now her husband's killer? Let her remember you as you were before this terrible day came to pass. You want to argue, but you know he speaks the truth. Megrados always does. There is only one way to protect her now. I will leave tomorrow, you decide, with the rising of the sun. Very well, Megrados agrees, a bitter smile on his face. I will return tomorrow with your horse. Megrados departs, and the members of the guard return to the village with him. There is no need to watch you now. You sit alone in the dust again, leaning against a boulder, wrapping a blanket around your body. Darkness falls, and soon a powerful exhaustion sets in. You are sinking helplessly towards sleep, but there is something that prevents you from drifting off fully. The familiar feeling of being watched. Your eyes flicker open. Standing toward the valley is a tall, thin figure with long, featureless limbs. Its skull is narrow, and its face comes to a point, like the crease in a shield. The figure twitches, rocking its head forward and back, forward and back. Tall, thin figure with long, featureless limbs. This Slender Man? Skull is narrow, and the face comes to a point. Who goes there? Speak, or I swear that you will taste my blade. Greetings, visitor. Or leave this place, you hideous instance of madness made flesh. I don't think Kiros wants to come with us, Nintendo. Pretty sure that's all. That's Dunzo. Dunzo. Number 1. Who goes there? The creature extends its wings and soars into the night. As it disappears, you notice that it has a pair of near-human arms lower down on its torso. But no sooner has it vanished into the blackness than you hear the shudder of wings at your back. Dazed and in considerable pain, you are whisked into the air, and you find yourself dangling precariously over a blur of mountains and sea as the creature carries you toward the darkened horizon. And yet the searing pain in your body seems to subside the longer you remain in the creature's presence. Soon the pain vanishes completely, and your attention turns to a bright light on the horizon in a shining city. You know in a moment that this is Arcadis, the citadel of the gods. At once you understand that your traveling companion is none other than Kalos, their messenger. You'll use a negative sign to indicate a downvote for an option. Oh, okay. Gotcha. You're carried through a tall, pillared window, or perhaps to Kalos, it's a door. He sets you down on a floor made of smooth, cold, white stone. You look down at your body, see what you had already felt. Your injuries have completely healed. Suddenly, you feel cool water falling from above, and you look above you. It pours from the mouths of two stone lions. They are washing away the invisible stain of violence that adheres to your form, lest it offend the gods. Kalos washes himself in the water too, for having touched you. The flow lessens to a trickle, and then stops. You proceed down a long marble walkway that opens into an even brighter chamber, deeper within the building. Beyond is another room, one that seems to glow brighter than the sun itself. You shield your eyes instinctively as you draw closer. A few steps farther, and you must close your eyes entirely. It is too bright. Kalos takes notice of your stumbling. You feel one of his hands come down firmly on your shoulder, while the other runs its fingers over your eyelids, lightly coating them with a perfumed powder. Your eyes feel cold in your head, like stones from the bottom of the lake. But when they open again, the light no longer brings pain, and you can see the room ahead clearly. There are figures within, and once you have entered the room outright, you recognize them. They are all the gods you have ever known. You are struck in particular by Sephiel, goddess of wisdom, in her mirrored crown. Valuckas, god of the sun, in his golden armor. Kriya, goddess of the hunt, carrying her ivory bow. Nidon, god of the sea, with his crown and trident. Marina, goddess of the dead, enrobed in shadow. You want number 1 on this, Nintendo? I'm gonna start a poll on that one. I still didn't. I forgot to change the quit the game option to like streamer's choice or something. Oh well. Welcome, Lobarden. Welcome. You haven't missed very much. Only basically what happened was right after we killed our father, Megados went and healed our mother, but they banished us from the village, and then we were taken to the citadel of the gods here. Alright, 1 it is. Nintendo's got it. She regards you with a warm smile. Come forward, champion. You are welcome here. You step forward and stand before the gods. They are twice as tall as anyone you have seen on the earth, and their eyes emit a divine glow, but they are most beautiful. Now their attention turns to someone standing over your shoulder. You look around to find a familiar figure. He is a god known to you from more than just the tales of teachers. You even recognize his eyes. Your mother raised a prayer to me this morning, Misonus says, but the enemy would not let me hear it. On this dark day, I could not help my own servants. I promise you shall be repaid. What task have you called upon your humble servant to perform, great Misonus? A great god has called me here only to apologize? I beg of you, great Misonus, bring my father back to me. If you are so sorry, then bring my father back to me. Okay. don't want 3 or 4? I'm actually kind of wanting to go with 3 or 4. Hmm. I don't want number 2, that's for sure. I wouldn't mind going with number 1. What task have you called upon your humble servant to perform? Great Hisonus. Okay. Number 1 then. A simple one, replies Hetexa, the goddess of war. You recognize her from the sleek black armor that coats her flesh like a second skin, and from her wolf-like helmet with its ebony teeth. We wish to know the name of the god who sent the dream to your father, that we may deliver our vengeance upon them. Rest assured, this enemy will be repaid for their crimes against our champion, even if they are in this chamber with us now. The enemy's name is Digoras. First, Hisonus must promise that he will protect my village from reprisal. I do not need help from any god. Find the name yourself. What's up, bro? Roseo Lefkin? I think it's time we ask for something in return here. First, Hisonus must promise that he will protect my village from reprisal. I will do more than that, champion. You will see when you return, and you will recognize my hand. You believe him. You will tell him what you know. The name of the enemy is Digoras, you say. He is the one who sent the dream to my father. At the mention of the name, the gods turn silent. Indeed, they almost seem frightened. Digoras? S, the god of the sun? But why would he interfere with the path of the champion? Valuckas, do not be foolish, Sephiel chides. The champion was not his aim. Digoras' true purpose is plain enough, for those who wish to see it. You sense the opportunity to ask a question. Who is this Digoras? Why have I never heard of this Digoras? What does this Digoras want with me? Even Nintendo's indecisive about this one. What does this Digoras want with me? Or why have I never heard of this Digoras? Yeah, I'll go with 2. The gods turn in surprise to hear you speak, as though they had forgotten they were in human company. The hour is late, Valuckas says. It is time for our visitor to return to the earth and to his destiny. Kalos, the messenger, enters the chamber and gives a kind of twitching bow. He is ready to bring you home. Stand down, Kalos, comes the voice of the goddess of war. I will take Licorice to the village myself. So they're not even going to answer my question. Hetexa leads you onward and away from the center chamber. You proceed down endless white corridors, one the same as the next. You feel as though you are leaving Arcadis somehow and traveling much further than you are walking. Do not fear that you will face Digoras alone, she explains. You will find his strength sapped by moving against one with so great a destiny as yours. If he ever regains enough power to attack again, we will be watching, and we will strike back. But who is this Digoras? Why have I never heard of this Digoras? Again, I will ask, why have I never heard of him? There would be no reason you would. He is the god of chaos. Unlike we, his siblings, he has no temples, no followers. His loyalty would be as worthless as theirs. And what could he wish to achieve by harming me? We do not know. Perhaps by killing you, he hopes to protect the vestiges of the First Age, that they may sow more chaos in the world. Worry not, champion. I would never allow him to harm one so loyal as you. Loyal? But I have made you no offerings. Indeed you have, Licorice. In your dedication to the path of a warrior, you honor me every day, and you will honor me even more in the future. The corridors begin to darken. The white stone is replaced with granite and black volcanic rock. The pale glow of Arcadis is gone. It has turned to an angry red. Atexa speaks over her shoulder as you proceed. And I am heartened indeed that you have thus far resisted the temptations of mercy, she says. Take heed, champion. It is the enemy of victory and the betrayal of our art. If you see the path to glory, let not fear of cruelty keep you from it. Can you change your nickname color to Angry Red? Well, if you get Twitch Turbo, you can use whatever color you want. You get access to the full RGB values. For your honor and the honor of the gods, my enemies will continue to fall. What if I choose to be merciful? I will remember what you have said. You dare tell me how to fight, I will do as I wish. Are you sure you don't want number 3? I kind of want number 3. Might go with number 3 on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with number 3. Be warned, champion. So will I. You come into a high chamber where huddled figures work the bellows of an enormous forge, sending sparks into the darkness. The walls here are adorned with weapons the likes of which you have never seen. Axes and spears of such enormous size that they could never be wielded by ordinary mortals. This is my dominion, Atexa announces. 2 of her servants skulk to a great wheel and turn it together. The mouth of the forge opens. Atexa reaches into the flame beyond with a bare hand, and pulls what looks to be a lump of molten steel from the flames, cupping it in her palm. She cools the metal with her breath, and then brings the shapeless mass to a long table where she works at it with a hammer and a spike. Sparks fly. Finally, she thrusts the object into a bucket of water. There is a cloud of steam. Atexa presents the metal to you in her palm. It has been transformed into a shining silver ring. You are sure that it will fit you perfectly. The ring is a gift from me. It will endow you with the power of command. While you are possessed of this gift, your followers will do your bidding as though they share your mind. But will this gift not alter my destiny? Any encounter with a god will alter your path. Even your brief visit to Arcadis today has changed it. But after the violence that Dagoras showed you, I felt justified in guiding you further in the hope of evening your chances. You look at the ring and say, I accept your gift gladly. I respectfully decline your gift. I need no more interference from gods today. I don't know. I'm tempted to decline it. I don't really want to be ordering people around and commanding them without them having free will. I respectfully decline your gift. Hetexa crushes the ring in her fist. Sparkling dust flows through her fingers. So be it. I would sooner have you an ungrateful fool than a cowardly one. This choice proves you to be anything but that. Hetexa points to a granite wall. It crumbles and forms a darkened corridor, a heavy iron door at its end. Leave now. The door will take you to your village. It leads wherever it is told to go. Will we meet again? What will happen now? What will become of my mother? What will happen now? Alright. You will return to your village and to your destiny. You belong to the Weavers now. They will guide you back to the path, and it will take shape as they have written it. Remember that your destiny is a part of you already, Licorice. You need only listen for its voice. You pass through the iron door into the morning light. Wow, that was a quick chapter. Chapter 5. The Dweller in the Pass. See our stats real quick. Oh, the physical stuff is still the same. I think we've become a little bit more faithful. More logical, still more melancholy. Okay. You find yourself standing not far outside the village, in the very spot where you had been sleeping the night before. You turned to look for Hetexa's door. It is gone. You can see Megardos nearby. He is searching for you, leading 2 horses. When he at last notices you standing behind him, he is more confused than startled. Where have you been? It may be more trouble than it's worth to tell the truth. Megardos is sure to disbelieve it. I've been here all along. Perhaps you are losing your sight. I was wandering in the valley, collecting my thoughts. I was visiting with the gods in Arcadis. I don't see why I shouldn't tell him the truth. I mean, there was that one time where he did go and tell our father about something we told him in confidence, but he didn't tell him any details, so. I will go with... I'll go with the truth. The sincerity of your words gives the old man pause. Why do you mock me, young man? Megardos asks, perplexed. You can see that it will take some time before Megardos accepts your story. You regard the second horse on Megardos' tether. Why have you brought 2 horses, you ask? I require but 1. 1 horse is for me, he says matter-of-factly. I have decided that it is my destiny to accompany you to your next horizon. I will be glad to have the company, but it is far too dangerous. I could not ask for a better omen as I set out on this journey. Megardos, I do not need minding like a baby. I want to say, but it is far too dangerous. I mean, because I don't particularly want him along with me, but I don't want to tell him not to come with me either. You want number 3, Lobard? Okay. I could be interested to see what that turns out to offer. You hear the gates of the village opening again. You and Megardos turn to see a familiar figure emerge. She is slowly walking toward you, holding her head high and weeping. Do your eyes deceive you? It looks so much like your mother, but she is healed entirely. It is as though she had never been hurt at all. This cannot be the work of Megardos's medicine alone. It is a miracle. Your mother reaches out to you, and you cling to her as a child might. It is the hand of Hasonus, she says. He healed me in the night, so that I might see you once more. The god is powerful, but just. I only wish the weavers had been as merciful, for today I must leave you. I feared you despised me. I will hold this moment in my heart on my journey. I'm tempted to go with 3 or 4. But Nintendo, you want number 2? I'm not so sure about that one. Alright, 4. 4 it will be. We won't do any coin flips on this one just yet. That journey will bring great pride to our village, and to me. That your mother could hold you after your crime is a miracle in itself, and her words are indeed kind. But nothing can change the truth of your act. Tonight will be your father's funeral bonfire, and the elders would consider it a sacrilege for you to remain within reach of its light. As the sun reaches its height, you and Megardos ride away. Okay. As you ride on with Megardos, you tell him more about your visit to Arcadis, and he comes to accept that you're telling the truth. At once, his doubt is replaced with a feverish curiosity. What did they reveal, he asks, about your destiny, about life itself? Worry not, old friend, I will tell you all I know. Calm yourself, old man. It is not as if they unveiled the mysteries of fate. I fear you will be disappointed. I'm gonna go with 3 then. If you want not 2, I think number 1 is kind of like leading him on to actually believe that we learned a lot there when we really didn't learn anything. But Labarden wants to? Alright, I guess we'll coin flip this one. So, 2 will be heads, 3 will be tails. And it is tails. Still can't really show that without it falling from my hand. There we go. Alright, I fear you will be disappointed. Do not toy with my feelings, boy. Tell me what you know. This you do, though, as you recount what the gods have revealed, you realize that they shared very little with you. Exactly. Perhaps mortals were not meant to have certain knowledge. I suppose if I learned too much, it would have changed my fate, just as Daggeros did. The gods are clearly hiding something from me. Perhaps mortals were not meant to have certain knowledge. Or, I suppose if I learned too much, it would have changed my fate, just as Daggeros did. Yeah, that's what I'll go with. When you have traveled 5 days beyond the valley, you hear Megradas cry, "Stop!" His voice splits the silence of an otherwise quiet day of travel. "What is the matter?" you ask. "I fear we are heading straight for Demina Pass." "But where's the harm in that? Until our purpose becomes clear, one destination is as good as another. Where does this Demina Pass lead?" "To Kelanos," Megradas concedes. "It is the shortest way there without rounding the mountains. But there are many stories told about the place." You begin to recall what Megradas is talking about. How, when you were little, your friends would trade tales about the accursed mountain pass, hoping to frighten each other. Your favorite of these stories involved an old hermit who eats human flesh, accursed animals that were banished to the pass by the gods, a mound of unburied dead that rolls around the pass like a great living boulder. What do you guys think about this one? What will be cooler to see? Can we not run into a giant boulder of dead people, please? I don't know, that seems pretty cool to me. Yeah, I want to go with either 1 or 3. Alright. We'll go with number 1. "But surely these are preposterous rumors," you say. "If one such story is true, they must all be true, and that would be impossible." "Nonetheless," Megradas cautions, "there may yet be a kernel of truth in them, and I think it would be prudent to round the mountains for the sake of safety." You consider his suggestion, but then you remember what Hetexa told you. Your destiny is a part of you, and so again, you seek the answer within yourself, imagining your future as far ahead as you can see it. And this is how you know that you must travel through Demina Pass. The ordained path is the only one you see. Megradas sighs. "You need not say it, I can see from your face that you are determined. But I tell you, I am against this. If we meet with danger along the way, you may chide me later. The weavers have given us no other choice but this one. Perhaps there are those who need our help. Fear not, the weavers will protect us. Stop your incessant grumbling." Alright, yeah, 2 sounds good to me as well. The weavers have given us no choice but this one. The pass is narrow. It curves and stretches between the mountains so tortuously you expect to find thieves lying in wait behind every corner. And yet you encounter nothing living besides a few hares and the odd lone goat. Suddenly, there is an odd skittering noise on the ridges, like an invisible herd. "What is that?" you ask. It has come on so quickly, you wonder if it must be birds, but the creatures making this commotion sound far too heavy. "Perhaps it is more goats," Megradas offers, unsure himself. "I have it on good authority that they can climb very high." The sound passes, and with it the conversation. After the 4th hour, you round a corner to find a tall, wide, roughly oval-shaped opening in the pass, like a great open room crafted from the stone itself. But there are also signs of human presence here. Ladders lead up the sides of the dusty walls, the clay floor is brushed clean. Amphorus rests on molded shelves near a doorway. Clothing hangs to dry on a nearby rope. It looks like a home, but you are intrigued indeed to find anything so hospitable in such an unforgiving place. "Who goes?" The sound is coming from a cave halfway up the rocky wall. You look there and see a young man emerging into the light. He wears a plain brown tunic tied with rope, and he smiles warmly to see that he has visitors. I hope for your sake you are not bandits, he advises, for I have nothing to steal. We are travelers, Megados explains, on our way to Kelenos. Your host nimbly descends a ladder and joins your party, a congenial grin still on his face. Welcome then, travelers. I am Cybos. Or Cybos. Cybos sounds better. But I guess Bos would be like the more Greek sounding. Yeah. Cybos. Or Kybos, maybe? Anyway, do you live in this place alone, Cybos? How long have you lived in the pass? Have you not heard the stories people tell about this place? Pretty sure this guy is probably the hermit. What did it describe about his room again? Roughly oval-shaped opening in the pass. Ladders leading up the sides of the walls, clay floor, molded shelves, clothing. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Do you live in this place alone? I live here with my family. They are away hunting now. I have not the stamina or the stomach for the task, so they have left me here, though I confess I am as feeble as a watchdog as I am a hunter. You sleep in that high cave, do you? We all do. It provides good shelter, and there is plenty of room. In fact, you are welcome to join us for the evening if you like. My family will return soon enough with their quarry. And I fear you cannot reach the other end of the pass before nightfall. There is no arguing with your tired bones. An hour later, you have settled around a great fire with Cybos. Your horse is tethered to the far wall of the pass. As the sun sets, he shares bread with you, and together you await his family's return. Perhaps it is because Cybos seems so close to you in age, but you find that you settle into easy camaraderie with him. You tell him your stories about Onesia, while he offers those of his unusual life in the Demina Pass, and his seemingly endless encounters with the mischief of goats. You must admit, he reminds you very much of Chiros. His eyes even fall upon you with an unmistakable hint of longing. The evening wears on. I think he's just hungry. the evening wears on, and darkness falls. You begin looking around you at the dimly lit corner of the pass where your host and his family make their home. You say, "Do you often pass the night alone in this place? Do you mean to tell me your entire family sleeps with you in that small cave?" Will your family not find it hard to reach this place in the dark? Do you often pass the night alone in this place? The young man laughs. Do not worry for me, Licorice. When my family is nearby, I am safe, and they will be here soon enough. By now, I am sure they are making their way down the eastern passage. You cast your hawk's gaze far away into the moonlit depths of the passage, hoping to catch a glimpse of the returning party. What you see are 6 shadowy figures lumbering toward your group on many legs, their eyes hollow and dark. You are about to warn your host of their approach when your instincts still your tongue. Whatever these things are, you feel certain that Cybos expects them. Indeed, you feel certain that you have just gotten your first glimpse of his so-called family. You return your gaze to Megrados at the fireside. It would be wise to retrieve a weapon before these horrors arrive. Whatever they may be, you move to collect your sword from your supplies. Where are you going? Cybos asks, curiously. And before his family is an undead at Boulder. God, I hope not. I make an excuse. I reveal my knowledge of his treachery and my true intent. Run and fetch my sword before he can react. Check stats. Stats still haven't changed. I'm tough, but I'm not really that strong, and I'm not really that fast. Everything else looks to be the same. Got a little bit more courage up from our melancholy since I allowed Nintendo to have his melancholy choices. I think I want to make an excuse. I haven't really tried to make any excuses. I've always tried to like just go at things head on. You think we actually get speed increases from trying to do these things? I'm actually curious about that. Alright, for the sake of curiosity, I know I'm probably going to fail this, but maybe it will increase the speed stat, even if we do fail. Alright, here we go. Before we read. Oh, it does! Holy shit. Wow. Okay, that's cool. I was wondering how our speed got faster, because we started at like, I don't know, like 50 or something. It's just slowly going up as I fail and fail and fail all my speed checks. You move to retrieve your weapon, but your host runs ahead of you and grabs the sword first. He throws it into the darkness. Fuck. Now you are truly ready to greet my family, he says, and here they come now, to welcome you to the fold. As if summoned by these words, a pale, shambling creature emerges from the passage. It looks to be a great scorpion, as large as a horse, yet its body is made entirely of bones. A bleached skull grins where its head should be, and a chain of spines whips and stabs in place of its stinger. What the fuck? More such scorpions emerge into the firelight beside the beast. You must act. You run to retrieve your sword while Cybos scampers up to his cave to escape the fight. Megrados appears to be immobilized with horror. It seems you will be fighting these enemies on your own. How will you deal with these strange creatures? Lead them after me into the raging fire. Field their attacks simultaneously. Drag them with me into the raging fire. Leap onto their backs and hack them apart. Yeah, I think three might be a good idea too. Nintendo. How big is this fire though? Like, are we talking about just like the fire that we have going here? These are scorpions as large as horses. Like, I feel like six of these horse-sized scorpions would probably just overwhelm the fire and wouldn't just put it out. But fuck it. Let's do it. Drag them with me into the raging fire. Unperturbed by its snapping claws, you grab a scorpion by its tail. You drag it with you into the fire, where it comes alight like wood. It skitters away and bursts apart, its bones whipping through the air. You remain unharmed. And the other beasts advance on you. You wrestle them each into the fire as you did the first, and they suffer their brother's fate. In time, all the scorpions are vanquished, and the bones that once comprise them float in the air like feathers. Scorpions gather together, collecting into a kind of swarm. Can this enemy be destroyed at all? Uh-oh. You look up at the open mouth of Cybos's cave, where your host is still hiding from the chaos. Perhaps you are fighting the wrong foe. You ascend the ladder, sword in hand. Cybos rings his fists and backs farther into the dark, moving like a frightened animal. Do you think you truly can kill me? The souls of my family will keep me alive no matter what you do. I cannot die. Yet you can hear the fear in his voice and the uncertainty in his words. He is lying. You raise your sword and say, "You will prey on the innocent no more. You are wrong to tangle with me, fiend. I promise I will make this quick." How would it be disobeying the gods? I don't want to hear why why I promise I will make this quick would be disobeying the gods. Eh, I guess it could be considered mercy, yeah. Kinda. I mean, either way, we're killing them. So I think I don't think the goddess of war actually wants us to like draw it out and like torture people to death. All right, we'll go with yeah, number one. We'll go with number one though. You will prey on the innocent no more. You plunge the blade into his heart. He cries out so loudly that his voice seems to surround you. Then you realize that most of the sound is coming from beyond the cave. It is the voice of countless imprisoned souls, sharing the pain of their master. Looking beyond the threshold, you see that the bones have begun whirling in a cloud. They converge again to create what looks to be a tall, thin tower. The peak of the tower splits, and the shape curves into a stance of attack. It has become a terrifying serpent. The beast opens its jaws and emits a great roar, 1,000 voices strong. The bones in its dark gullet spin and grind like endless rows of teeth, and its tail thumps heavily on the ground. You decide to lead the serpent to the high ridges and then leap to the ground below. The beast will smash itself apart when it follows me. That sounds pretty cool. Wait until the serpent tries to swallow me and then hack it apart in midair. Grab onto the serpent's back and let it try in vain to crush me against the walls. Parry the serpent's attacks while hacking it apart. I think number one would be a resilience thing too, though, and I think that would be cooler. But what if it doesn't follow me? I guess that would be pretty embarrassing if it didn't follow me. Alright, number three then. Grab onto the serpent's back and let it try in vain to crush me against the walls. You climb onto the serpent and fasten your arms around its neck. The beast thrashes and squirms, attempting to flatten you against the rock and the ground. It eventually succeeds in throwing you, but its crushing attacks leave you uninjured. Once off the beast's back, you draw your sword and advance on it. A single swipe of your sword is all it takes to send the shaky monstrosity to pieces again. Yet the bone's strength does not wane. In a moment, you know they will reform into something new and terrible. They are already beginning to swarm. You make your way into Cybos's cave again. He has collapsed in a pool of thickening blood, but he smiles defiantly nonetheless. Despite the injury you dealt him earlier, you can see that he is beginning to heal. You will need to render him a more decisive blow this time. With a hearty chop, you send his head rolling. Beyond the cave, the bones cry out in pain, as they too have been hurt. Perhaps they do not realize you are trying to help them. Perhaps they have forgotten they were human. Perhaps they will cling with all their power to even this blasphemous approximation of life. Yeah. Perhaps they do not realize I'm trying to help them. Yeah, I'll go with that one. The bones form an enormous arm that reaches out and snatches up Cybos's head and body. They recede and form a kind of cocoon around his remains, a skeletal cage, with 4 sturdy legs like those of a beast of burden. This peculiar new beast goes running farther down the pass away from you. To the horses, you cry. He yet lives. You and Megrados mount your animals and head off in pursuit of the great beast. What's up, Kinslayer? Okay. The chase continues until the edge of dawn, when you emerge from the pass onto a wide plain. There the mammoth slows to a stop and disgorges Cybos onto the bare earth of the plain. For a deluded moment, you assume that you have won the battle. You and Megrados dismount. But as you draw closer to Cybos's body, you see that it is healing. His head is restored, and the wound in his chest is closing before your eyes. He stands defiantly now, leering as the bones of the beast that carried him begin floating apart once again, reforming into something like birds. With snapping jaws and needle-like claws, the creatures begin dipping and soaring through the air like a cloud of blades. They will be upon you in moments. Despite your advanced speed, you have no hope of dodging them. They are too numerous and too fast. Even if you ran away, it would take time to outpace them. But then you suddenly realize how to finish Cybos once and for all. Show stats. Yeah, our strength increased, and our resilience a little bit. Run straight at him through the flock. Fight my way to him through the flock. Lead the flock away from their master and then return to finish him off. Throw my spear at him through the flock. I don't know about this one. I don't think I'm fast enough to lead them away. I think my best bet is just to run straight at him. Throwing my spear at him won't do anything. Yeah, I think I'm gonna run straight at him. Achievement. Defeat the Dweller. You train your eye on the enemy and run through the flock toward him, sword at the ready. The bone birds swipe and slash at your flesh, but they cannot harm you. Once safely on the other side of the swarm, you do your best to finish Cybos off. He falls quickly to your weapon, and the bone birds fall from the sky behind you. I don't get it. How? Now we got a little bit of speed and resilience from that. How did I mean, what did we do differently? After, I mean, we chopped off his head and we stabbed him through the heart. All right, but maybe it'll say in the next page. You notice movement near the horizon and turn to see two armored soldiers approaching on horseback. No doubt they have been watching your battle from afar. They are upon you in moments. What has happened here? Asks the taller of the two, her voice full of awestruck horror. What is this witchcraft? Megrados does his best to explain what you have endured at Cybos's hand. It is a difficult story to believe, but the soldiers have ample evidence of its truth. Most compellingly, the way the enchanted bones twitch and shudder on the ground, the way the massacred corpse of Cybos is slowly repairing itself before their eyes, the way Cybos's eyes still look around madly. Okay, so he's not actually dead. Yet. The way the massacred corpse of Cybos is slowly repairing itself before their eyes. I think I like that one the best. Oh, you don't want number 2? Okay. The way Cybos's eyes still look around madly. Cybos's victims must have their final rites, Megrados impresses. If we delay too long, the sorcerer will use their souls to return life. There is no time to bury all the remains, so you make a bonfire, enlisting the soldiers' help in doing so. It is a method of passage more closely associated with the honored dead. But you are sure the torment these wretches endured has entitled them to some distinction. As the remains meet with the flame, and prays for their souls' safe journeys, you notice that Cybos's healing slows down, and then stops entirely. Finally, the sorcerer's eyes go blank, his body withers to a husk, and you know he is truly gone. What will we do with him? You ask Megrados. I will leave that up to you. He is immortal with dark powers, but immortal nonetheless. If he is to pass into the underworld, he will need the rite, and that is your decision, whether he is worthy of the rest he denied so many for so long. You look at the petrified corpse of Cybos and know that I must add him to the bonfire with the others if I am to respect the rights of my people. That I must add him to the bonfire with the others to make certain he is gone forever. That I will deny him rest as repayment for his crimes, and let his body rot here. I feel like I should go with number 2, because if I just let his body go, what if, like, for some crazy reason he actually is able to heal? Maybe he's just healing, like, very, very slowly right now. So we have to finish him. So 2. I must add him to the bonfire with the others to make certain he is gone forever. You notice after the fire has died down that the soldiers are talking about you. They nod, speak with each other more, and then nod again. In time they seem to have reached some sort of agreement, and the tall one comes forward to speak with you. My companion and I are wondering, would you perhaps accompany us to our city? We are sure our king would be anxious to meet you. And what city are you from? Megrados asks them, ever your protector. Kelenos, the tall one says. Alright guys, gonna take a quick break, and then we'll get on with the next chapter. At least we're getting our speed up. That's good. Alright guys, give me like 2 or 3 minutes and I'll be back. Alright. I'm starting to lose track. I'm on what, chapter 6 now, I think? 6 or 7? I think 6. I believe it's 6, but who knows? The enemy returns. Okay. You learn more about your companions as you travel together to Kelenos. The tall soldier is Kiana, a lieutenant in the city's army. The short and somewhat stout soldier is Erithian, a cavalry officer. And may I ask what brought you both here, so far from home? Megados asked them. We were drawn here by the very mystery that you have unraveled. Lieutenant Kiana explains. The king set us here to search Dimena Pass, hoping we would at last discover the source of its peril. But I doubt we would have found anything. We never once saw so much as a sign of life there, and I myself have searched the pass 7 times. Cybos was no doubt careful to keep his presence hidden from those with the power to vanquish him, Megradas observes. He would only reveal himself to those he felt he could overcome. Then we are most fortunate that your friend Licorice is no ordinary man. Kiana bows her head slightly in your direction. You faced the sorcerer fearlessly and defeated him. How was it that you came to be so skilled? Though those soldiers have seen the evil of Cybos with their own eyes, you doubt they are ready to accept the truth of your destiny. And yet, what point could there be in lying to them? I am a mere traveler. It is by chance alone that I survived today. I am the champion of the gods, and no mere sorcerer can overcome my destiny. I am a mighty hunter of the northern lands. I pity this poor sorcerer for crossing my path. I am the champion of the gods, and possessed of only such talents as are necessary to fulfill my destiny. Yeah, I guess I kinda agree with you there, Nintendo. 1, 2, and 3 are... I don't know, I like 2's not bad. I like 2. But I guess you wanna take the more humble approach. Alright. Lieutenant Kiana and Officer Erythian are taken aback by your claims of destiny, but your conviction is such that they maintain a respectful silence. In time, your new companions begin to ride ahead of you in Megrados. It is a chance for you to speak to each other unobserved. Your destiny proceeds, observes the old man. This Cybos was clearly a vestige of the First Age. Now, Agasa is safe from a dark power that has plagued it for centuries. You suppose it is true that Agasa is a better place without Cybos. Yet I am uneasy at the thought of having been destined to be his destroyer. And if it be my destiny to rid the world of abominations like him, I am proud to accept it. But it perturbs me that he was immortal. I don't get why it would perturb him that he was immortal. Yeah, I know Nintendo. I'm tempted to choose number 3 or option 3 because I'm curious what it will bring about. Yeah, I'm gonna go with number 3. The land comes to an end at the edge of a rocky cliff. The party slows down to view what lies beyond, the city of Kelenos. I have been here many times, Megradas says, but whenever it is in my sight, it seems a dream to me. You cannot deny the city's allure. You are most impressed by statues of Cephio, patron goddess of Kelenos, on their tall columns. The great palace of Tryphon, the king, rising like a temple at the center of the city. The thousands of people crowding past each other in an endless procession. The thought that all this was crafted by mortal hands alone. Nah, I don't want to suck up to the god. I don't want to be 100% faithful. I want to be, like, yeah, I respect the gods, but I'm not like, I'm my own person as well. Hmm. I don't know. I think being from a small village, I think the thousands of people crowding past each other would be like the most amazing thing to see. I'm not gonna play the full-on guy. So that when it doesn't suit us, all the readers are like, yeah, 4 is, I was thinking maybe 4 as well. Yeah, I mean, this is our first time ever seeing a huge city. Uh, that kind of goes along with what I was saying for option 3, because we've never seen anything like this before. Okay, number 4 then. You and your party make your way down the side of the hill, through the towering stone pillars that mark the entryway, along streets crowded with merchants, priests, and strange foreign beasts of burden. Finally, you come to the gates of the palace itself, where Lieutenant Kiana secures you chambers of honor. The new lodgings consist of 3 rooms on a terrace, each the size of your house in Onesia. The interior is painted a dusty red. I will do my best to secure an audience with the king this evening, the lieutenant explains. In the meantime, make yourselves comfortable. You and Megrados enter. It is cool inside despite the sun. Shelf-like platforms set into the walls and covered with woven mats serve as beds. A splendid pattern of pointed red leaves twists along the ceiling. There are 2 jugs decorated with the image of naked runners engaged in a foot race on a shelf too high for anyone to reach. This is splendid, remarks Megrados. Is it not, Lucaris? I have never seen anything like it. I will take my home in Anesia any day. We have done nothing to deserve such an honor. Only 3 rooms? Why not a wing? I'm tempted to go with number 2. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if we want our character to be like become like a city boy. But I mean, number 1 isn't such a bad option either. Never seen anything like it. Well, I don't know. I don't know. We did go to the fucking Citadel of the Gods. Alright. I will take my home in Onesia any day. You enter the second room. Along its wall is a basin filled with water and floating rose petals. You dip your hands for a moment and watch the clear water turn gray with filth. You are reminded of the waterfall that cleansed you in Arcadis, washing away the stain of death and purifying you before the gods. And suddenly you see your father in your mind's eye. The awful surprise on his face when he came out of the dream and saw what you had done to him. His death was a tragedy indeed, but who is to blame for it? What's up, Chlorina? Oh yeah, Kappa Army, bro. I am to blame. My destiny is to blame. The Weavers are to blame. Digoris alone is to blame. You know, obviously Digoris. I don't think there's really any option on that one. You think of the detestable god of chaos and all he has done to your destiny. How long will it be, you wonder, before you are permitted to return to Onesia? How long before this burden you were never meant to bear is lifted at last? Lycoris? Megrados asks. What is the matter? You have gone quiet. Are you well? I am not, Megrados, but there is nothing to be done about it now. Merely tired, old friend. Leave me be. Well, if we've gone with being truthful with Megrados this entire time, I don't think there's any reason to stop being truthful. It is barely 3 hours before Officer Arithian knocks at the door to your chambers. The lieutenant has secured you an audience. Valuckas is to come with me immediately. The king sits on a throne with a high back, tall columns on either side of it. Around him stand soldiers and members of his court. A robe of red is draped over his shoulders, flowing down over his feet. His gaze is piercing, but his eyes must approve of what they see, for he smiles warmly as you approach his throne. Welcome to Kelenos, Valuckas. Lieutenant Kiana tells us of your great destiny and your victory over the dweller in Demina Pass. Our own forces have endeavored to vanquish this fiend for years, with no success, and this you did in only one night. Frankly, we are amazed. Those who cross me will know defeat, that is certain. I only did what was necessary to protect my old friend. Prepare for amazement, then. I will exceed what you expect from a warrior or any other mortal. I only sought to keep Agasa safe from what lurked there. I'm going to go with number 1, because I think it's time we're proud of ourselves a little bit. Gotta flaunt yourself in front of the king. Those who cross me will know defeat, that is certain. Your brash words enliven the court, and the hangers-on begin muttering in approval. Equally impressed is the king himself. Hear me, Valuckas. Long has our city yearned for a united Agasa, and though I am no seer, your victory in Demina Pass is a sign to my eyes that you are the key to that hope. I wish to offer you a place of honor in Kelenos' army. You know in your heart that your destiny and the king's are linked. Any resistance would only bring the Weaver's wrath down upon you, and so you follow the king's suggestion. But the moment you speak out, you hear a gruff voice call from behind the throne. This is absurd, my king. The words belong to a man wearing ornate armor and a bitter expression, a subject of great honor to stand so close to the king. Is a single victory all that it will take to achieve rank in our army? Yes. If a young merchant drunk on wine should find victory in a brawl tonight, would he too be honored with a shield? A defeated expression appears on the king's face as he nods slowly to the speaker, then turns his attention back to you. Though his manner may be coarse, General Agronax's instincts have led our people to victory many times. I am afraid we will have no choice but to do as he suggests. Your training will commence tomorrow, and I am confident it will proceed with honor. The king stands and leaves, and the audience around him begins to disperse. Yet you cannot help but notice that a rather alluring member of the court has remained behind. He's being influenced. A man of noble bearing, whose eyes glitter with fierce intelligence. He wears the scarlet robe of royalty. Same thing, but a woman. A man of military bearing, whose eyes smolder with intensity. He wears ceremonial armor. Or gentle demeanor, whose eyes bespeak innocence and hope. A figure of poetry in a white tunic. I'm kind of going with the number 4. I'm feeling number 4, but let's get up a vote for this one just in case. We need this a strong woman. So you want number 2? Nintendo? A woman of noble bearing, whose eyes glitter with fierce intelligence. I don't know. I feel like noble women are usually deceitful and always trying to do things behind your back. I feel like if we want a loyal woman, we want a strong military woman. And yeah. All right. If no one else is voting, then we're coin flipping. So tails is 2, heads is 4. I can't tell what it is. Is that heads? I think that's heads. Fuck. Wait, heads is 4, right? Yes, that was the one I wanted. Too late. You approach each other. She speaks first. You must not take General Egranax's manner as an insult to your person. He is that way with all of us, even with me. One look in her eyes, and you know that there will be no hiding from this woman. So you speak from the heart. I do not take offense. It is merely a sign of his dedication. If he speaks to you that way, hit he in the face, as I will, when next he speaks to me. Warriors often forget to save their fighting for the battle, but I do not blame the general. I often make the same mistake myself. By the way, what's up, Pandarsara? The old man is threatened by me, as he should be. I will fight circles around his soldiers. Alright, so we're talking to a military woman here. We have to show some respect. So either number 1 or 3. Warriors often forget to save their fighting for the battle, but I do not blame the general. I often make the same mistake. Alright, yeah. Let's do it. I suppose it is one peril of our path, for I often mistake or make it as well, and yet I remain proud to call myself a warrior. Please allow me to introduce myself. She delivers a concisive military bow. I am Lieutenant Norala, Princess of Kelenos, and let me be the first to say that I am honored to have so brave a fighter as you in our forces. There is no denying that the princess is quite attractive to you. You attribute her appeal to the determination in her jaw, her impressive physique, the natural nobility of her military bearing, the way her every movement embodies a warrior's prowess, the kindness in her face. I would say, yeah, number 2. I'm kind of going with number 2 on that one too. Her impressive physique. Merely regarding her, I feel strangely drawn to her. I know that I must win her love if I am to become king. Do we want to become king? I don't know about that. I am unmoved, despite her charms. I'm gonna go with number 1, probably. Yeah, number one. You look into her eyes, wondering at their intensity. There is desire there too, but it runs deeper than mere lust. You can think of nothing but ways to draw this woman deeper into your life, and of your somehow crossing into hers. What do you say to her? I'm a hero in more than only battle. Come to know me better, and you will learn this firsthand. The honor is mine, to fight beside a warrior of such stature as the lieutenant. You will see when we are in the field together. To our city I will bring great honor, to our enemies I will bring death. I am no more than a man, Lieutenant Norella, and a fortunate one to behold your beauty. Do not take me for some common mercenary. I am a soldier of honor and take no pleasure in killing. You will see when we are in the field together. To our city I will bring great honor. To our enemies I will... No. The honor is mine to fight beside a warrior of such stature as the lieutenant. Why don't you like 2? I think 2 is like the more proper way to handle this, seeing that she's a military woman. I think 4 is a little too... That's laying it on a little too thick. So yeah, I think 1 or 2. 1 or 2. One is like a little bit too cocky though. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2. The lieutenant is touched by your deference. You are a veritable contradiction, Licorice, a warrior with a gentle soul. I will look forward to learning more about you. Until then, as you return to your chambers, you think of Princess Norella and the feelings you have for her. Oh, I thought that was like... This should be a different paragraph. The connection beyond anything you have ever felt was waiting for you here all along in Kelenos. Man, just imagine what do you think would happen if Chiros was actually here with us? I'm only grateful that my affair with Chiros is over. I never felt for him the way I do for Princess Norella. I fear such passion is a weakness for a warrior like myself. I am grateful indeed to the weavers for this gift. Yeah, number 1. Let's do it. The next morning, you wake with the sun and walk to the training yard. It lies just within the city to the north. The compound is not unlike a farm in appearance, one with stone walls where the timber would be. Kiana waits for you in a wide circle of sand. A shield has been placed for you there. You step inside and take it up. Looking around, you cannot help but notice that you and the lieutenant are alone. You will be my only student today, she explains, pulling a helmet down over her face. But rest assured, my interest in you extends to sparring alone. She throws a second helmet to you. To that end, let us spar. You don the helmet, and she throws a wooden sword. As you catch it, she begins running toward you, raising her own weapon high above her head, using her momentum to build force into the attack. Block the blow with my own sword and shove her back. Drop down and roll as she draws near, then jab her from behind. block the blow with my shield while swinging my sword at her side. Yeah, number 2 would probably be speed and strength. Let's see. 67, 69. Just strength, or just speed, I guess, but hey. You handily drop and roll away from the attack and move to jab Kiana with your sword, but she is gone. How can she move so quickly? You turn and find her smiling above you. You have some speed to you, that is for sure, but now, let us see if you are strong. Kiana tells you to put down your shield and your weapon. She then raises her own shield and instructs you to grip its sides with your hands. You do as she suggests. What now, you ask. The test, she replies. Kiana thrusts forward with the shield bearing down on you with all her might. Though your strength is hardly superhuman, it is clearly far superior to hers. Shove back and knock her down. We're not trying to get sexy time with Kiana. Come on. We got a princess we're infatuated with right now. Roll left to escape from the inexorable advance of the shield. Drop down and let her run over you. Climb the shield and smash your head into hers. Do we want strength or speed? I guess we should work on our strength. Shove back and knock her down. This isn't the same. This isn't the same person, Nintendo. This isn't the princess. This is the other lieutenant that we met after we killed the necromancer dude. Shove back and knock her down. You give a hearty shove to Kiana and send her and the shield tumbling to the sand. When she lands, she is already laughing with pride. Excellent work. Now let's see real quick. Yeah, more strength, nice. After a few more rounds of sparring, Kiana shows you to the armory. You are surprised to find that General Agranax's soldiers do not use arrows except for training. The general calls them dishonest weapons of the eastern lands. In their place, Kelenos's riders use javelins. Kiana allows you to work with one. It is light to carry and flies a long distance with little effort. Apparently, the riders carry many of them at once, using a special kind of quiver. Finally, Kiana shows you the Kelenos army's wide-headed swords, which you are told work almost like hammers. The weight of the blade drives the weapon forward as you swing. Kiana throws you one from a rack on the wall to let you work with it a while. Forgetting yourself, you catch the weapon by the blade. Kiana does not fail to notice that you remain unharmed. Interesting, she says. I was a fool to reveal my power to her. I'm pretty no, she already knows about it because she saw us fight the necromancer guy and saw us just run through like thousands of birds pecking at us. Let her see the truth. These powers are hers as much as mine, or we will be fighting for Kelenos together. The weaver's clearly meant for my gift to be revealed. I guess we can appease the weavers on this one. As the sun sets on your first day of training, Kiana accompanies you back to the chambers in the palace. The corridor to the chambers is so wide that it feels more like a road, and its ceiling is open to the night sky. When you come closer to your door, you notice that there is someone waiting at it for you. Princess Norala, Kiana grins, recognizing the visitor. Good evening to you. Good evening, Lieutenant Kiana. And to you, too, Novice Licorice. I'll let her politely bow to her, grin at her wickedly, give a cautious nod. Bow. Bow to the royalty. And tell me, Lieutenant, how does Licorice's training proceed? Narala asks. Will he soon join our ranks? He is ready to join us in battle at any moment. I need only show him the basic formations, but Licorice here can tell you about that. I must go to prepare the training yard for morning. Good evening to you both. Kiana walks away, dealing you a knowing wink. Narala steps forward, her eyes watch yours expectantly. Princess Narala, you say? My name is Narala when we are alone, she says, not Princess Narala. I had thought you would have guessed that by now, and I will certainly refrain from calling you novice, for we both know you are no such thing. Tell her, step forward and kiss her fervently. Tell her how beautiful she looks. Warn Norella that I will be no woman's plaything. Come on, we can't go in like that, Nintendo. You're the one saying don't fuck this up, and you're choosing the options that will get us, will fuck it up for us. You can't just you think it's just gonna go over well. Like just step forward and try to kiss a princess that I've just met. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Hey, you're the one that screwed up Churros, remember? So you're like, oh yeah, let's just go and try to sleep with him right away, right? She said don't call her princess, but that doesn't mean that yeah, let's fucking kiss right here. That just means don't call me princess. We don't have to be formal around each other. You look very beautiful tonight, Narala, you say. It seems that your eyes desire more than a look, if I read their intent well. She presses her lips to yours with a passion that awakens your heart. With Norala, you know that your happiness is certain. With her, you have arrived where you belong. Norala breaks the kiss and peers into your eyes. Oh, Licorice, I long to share all that we feel, but my father will want to choose my suitor for himself, and in exploring this passion together, we are taking that decision away from him. I fear our love must remain a secret from him. So be it, but once my destiny unfolds, he will come to recognize the wisdom of our love. Nothing true can grow from deception. We must tell your father of our feelings for each other. So be it. I only hope I will be honored with your father's blessing when the time comes. We should not be ashamed. We must tell your father our feelings for each other. Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm tempted to go with number one. Just go with the whole destiny thing. If it's destined, then it will happen, right? But I mean, there's number two is also a decent option. Yeah, her father is the king. We know our destiny is tied in with his. Hmm. Alright, 1 or 2. Shall we flip on it? 1. Wait. Yeah, fuck it. One is heads, 2 is tails. Still so hard to see on the camera. I think that's heads. The heads. No, that's tails. Really need like a light right in front of right behind the camera so I can see that. So, I guess this is number 2 then. Nothing true can grow from deception. We must tell your father of our feelings for each other. Hopefully she goes with it. It is not deception, she replies. It is prudence. If we wait long enough, perhaps he will come to choose you himself. Okay? But Nirala need only look at your face to know that you are not merely speaking your mind. You are determined to tell the king the truth. Very well then, she says, a note of caution in her voice. I will arrange a private audience between you. But it is unwise. Okay, well, maybe we can take it back. Or not. Have faith. Our love has been destined by the gods. Have you no dignity? You should not be made to hide your happiness. Have courage. Our love will guide the way. Have we any choice? We must face our fate for good or ill. Some of these just sound kind of naive. Have you no dignity? No. Have courage. 3? Yeah. Maybe. If we don't get laid, you're gonna go cry yourself. Alright, 3. Nirala arranges for you to meet the king the next morning in the palace garden. Its pathways are crisscrossed with tiny furrows, carrying water in an endless stream from its dozen trickling fountains. Colonnades cast shadows across a series of peculiar symbols along the edges of the property, marking the time. Yet this garden has no soil, and there are no flowers here, or even weeds. Truly, this place possesses a mysterious kind of beauty. This so-called garden is a blight upon the eyes. Truly, this garden embodies the virtues of wisdom. Nothing is allowed to grow in this desolate place. Yeah, I'm thinking number 1 as well. The king enters, accompanied by 2 guards. While they linger in the distance, he leads you to one of the many fountains. Within, 3 cylinders rise from the center of a deep pool. They are carved with ibis birds and lilies. I know why you are here, he says. Nirala told you of our love? Damn. Do not be cross with her. My daughter would have felt herself a coward were she to leave that task to you. Once you announced your intent, she had no choice. He looks away from the fountain into your eyes. You have her heart, that much is plain, and I can see in your eyes that she has yours. Alas, love is not wisdom. That may be, but I'm willing to fight for it. We must trust in the wisdom of the weavers who have brought Nirala and I together in this way. I will do all I can to prove myself worthy of your daughter. I'm leaning towards number 2. Well, okay, we'll look at the stats. I'm a brutal man with integrity and faith. Sign of the Owl. You are ruled by logic and extremely confident. Having all the facts allows you to protect that which you value most and those you hold dear. Huh. Man, I still don't know about these choices. Yeah, I guess let's go with number 2. We must trust in the wisdom of the weavers who have brought Norella and I together in this way. I do trust in them, Licorice, and I trust in you as well. But you must yet show me that you are a leader worthy of Kelenos. Only then might I consider your petition. The king and the guards leave you in the garden. Your audience is at an end. Well, that's not a no. It's not a no. Your training proceeds over the next 6 weeks. You are being groomed as a mounted combatant, and despite your novice status, the king has handed down the order that you be given your own unit in the next engagement. General Agronix makes it a point to ignore your sparring matches and riding trials, perhaps to avoid the obvious proof of your skill, but Lieutenant Kiana remains encouraging. One afternoon, during a series of javelin runs, she calls you down from your horse. Soon you will have your first opportunity to fight alongside us, she explains. A band of thieves has settled in the low canyon of Cabal, and we must drive them out. I look forward to the chance to prove myself. A band of thieves hiding in some canyon? This is hardly a good use of my talents. I will gladly show these fools to their deaths. Alright, yeah, number 1. I'm afraid I cannot promise anything so glorious. These thieves are easy prey for an organized force such as ours. It will be no challenging to rout them. Even so, I am told this particular band is the scourge of the village. They are called the Temak. You find yourself lost in your memory, drawn back to the moment you first saw them stampeding down the Epsikas hills in their stolen armor. Your eyes tell me that this name is not strange to you, Kiana observes. It is not. When I was young, the Temak attacked our village. A boy my age was taken. Ethikos was his name. And that is tragic indeed. But surely you know that your friend, however loyal he once was, is now a full-fledged Temak, especially if he was taken young. It is the way with thieves. The march to Caval Canyon begins the next day. Princess Norella rides alongside you proudly, enthused to fight with the man she loves. The army trudges out. Soldiers of the line lead the front of the caravan. You and the other mounted riders follow behind them, and the skirmishers keep to the back of the long column, the loudest and most unruly of the bunch. You have only just learned the ways of our army, Kiana observes. Before we are in the midst of battle, is there anything you wish to know? Speak to me of the army's structure. We definitely need to know like the formations and what their strategies are. If we're going to impress the king, can't just go in like a one-man army. The Kelenos army consists of 3 components, she explains. The line, a veritable wall of soldiers fighting side by side. The riders, soldiers on horseback used primarily for defending the line. And finally the skirmishers, soldiers who excel at speedy, brutal combat. This last group is used to break through the enemy line and wreak havoc once they are on the other side of the field. Is there anything more specific I can recall for you? Tell me more about the riders, since I'm a rider. The riders are primarily used for defense. They can respond quickly to breaks in the line and quickly trample any enemy skirmishers that may come through. However, they can also work offensively, attacking enemies with their javelins, even from far afield. But why do the riders not start at the front of the formation? It would seem that mounted warriors could break through the enemy line with little help. Your inexperience is showing, Licorice. The truth is, horses find the united enemy line to be impassable, and become easy targets for the spears of enemy soldiers. The rider can only hope to cross through a fortified line near its right flank. That is its weakness. Tell me more about the line. The line is the basic building block of our army. Positioned at the front of our forces, each of its soldiers carries a shield in their left hand and a spear in the right. These soldiers advance ceaselessly, always maintaining the cohesion of their line. If there is ever a break in it, this is a sure sign of doom from their commander. Tell me more about the skirmishers. The skirmishers, who can move freely and quickly, are essential to the success of any military maneuver. From our side of the field, they do their best to upset the enemy line by pelting them with stones to distract their focus. But once an enemy's line is broken, our skirmishers reveal their true purpose, sowing utter chaos on the enemy's side of the battlefield. Do they have any weaknesses? Yes, they are no match for a mounted adversary. And now we have discussed all 3 sections of the army. Do you have any other questions? Only one. I recall from my training that all 3 facets of the army are equally important. Yet, looking at our caravan, I cannot help but notice that we have very few soldiers of the line, very few skirmishers, or very few riders. I would want to say very few riders. This much is true. Riders are used primarily for defense, and we did not expect to encounter much opposition from the Temach. For that reason, General Agranax has brought few riders with us to the battlefield. The next morning, when the sun is at its height, the march on the Temach camp begins. You proceed at the head of your mounted unit. Lieutenant Kiana commands a 2nd unit, and stately Lieutenant Nurala a 3rd. It is plain to see that all 3 groups of riders are slightly depleted, but that was the general's decision, not yours. As you draw closer to the Temach camp, your line begins to fall into formation. The skirmishers loom behind them, and the 3 units of riders bring up the rear. Yet all the while, a dark feeling in your soul begins to grow. As though I have stepped into someone else's destiny. Fuck. As though today is somehow wrong through and through. God damn it, Daggeroth. A feeling like the one that overcame me when Daggeroth sent the dream. The dark presentiment reaches its fruition when you arrive in the canyon and you see your foes. For the Temok are no longer wearing the ragtag armor and helmets from their innumerable raids. They are clad instead in shining silver armor. And something else has changed too. They are information, Kiana observes, and so they are. A solid line of soldiers marks the front of their company. Behind them are many lightly armored skirmishers, more than you have even in your own company, and directly behind these are armored riders. General Agranax is not impressed. They are dressed like an army now, he barks, but they will still fight like thieves. Move on them. Lieutenant Norala's unit gallops off to protect the right flank, while the soldiers of the line begin their relentless march forward. Your prospects for victory look good, and yet you know from your presentiment that Degoris is somehow to blame for this mischief. There's doubtless more to the silver armor than meets the eye. My destiny is again being threatened. Oh God. My destiny is again being number 1? Okay. Degoris is somehow to blame for this mischief. General Agranax orders your unit to proceed to the left flank, and you obey. But just as you move, a volley of silver arrows from the western ridge sails down. Their target raises his shield too late. The general and his mount crumple to the ground together, cut down by the attack. Kiana howls with rage. Protect the line, she orders you. These thieves must pay. At this, Kiana gallops off with her own unit of riders to mount the ridge. But does she realize that she is leaving you to protect the center of the line by yourself? You look over the field. One glance at the enemy reveals that the late general was wrong. These Temok are not merely dressed as warriors. As their line advances and clashes with yours, the thieves move fluidly and react quickly as though they have undergone years of training in only one night. These are not the toughs you knew from Onesia. This strange armor has made them into soldiers. Even a line as well fortified as yours will soon give way to such a force. Let them come. Our riders will target the Temok skirmishers, thinning their numbers. We will break through first. Our skirmishers will pelt the enemy line with stones to weaken their defenses. Let them come. Our riders will target the mounted Temok, thinning their numbers. Fuck. Ugh. Okay, so our line I don't know. We have fewer riders, but we have enough skirmishers and enough of a line. Fuck, I don't know. I feel like we have to go with number 2 because we don't have enough riders. Number 2 is like the smart option, right? So they chose to have fewer riders. You think number 3, Lobarden? Fuck. I don't know about this one. No, I can't do number 3 because that's just not how it works. Anyway, because we can't. The riders are not supposed to go after the other riders. They're supposed to take out the skirmishers. So if we do let them come, I think we have to go with number 1. But again, I don't know if we have enough riders. I'm gonna go with number 2. Look at what, Nintendo? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's either a test that you read the instructions, which obviously the instructions were to either that the riders take out the skirmishers or you just hold the line and the skirmishers pelt them. I don't think it'll be a skill check. Alright, number 2. With a full rank of skirmishers, this strategy is extremely effective. The soldiers of the Temoks, distracted by the rain of stones, are easily overcome by your advancing line, and a break is made to their side of the battle. Yet even this victory is not without cost. Princess Narala gallops toward you in a panic. Our line's maneuver was a success, Narala reports, but our right flank is weakening with our advance, and Temok skirmishers are breaking through to this side of the battle. We must halt them before the invasion grows larger. Yet perhaps you have other priorities at the moment. Looking into the far field, you see that your own skirmishers are being set upon by the Temok's mounted defense. Shit. Fuck. God damn it. Order our riders to launch the javelins at the mounted Temok in the far field. Well, no, that's definitely not the right option. Order our riders to confront the invaders at our flank. Actually, this option, because in the far field, our own skirmishers are being set upon. Can't we just call our skirmishers back and then defend the flank? Order our riders to leap the center of the Temok line into the far field. Oh my god. Ah, fuck. I guess I should go with what Narala suggests. And fuck. Alright, confront the invaders at our flank. Your forces in the far field are on their own. You order your riders to confront the invasion at your right flank before it can grow. This proves to be a wise move. Your riders are reduced in number, after all, and may not have been able to handle a larger invasion had they waited. However, they handily cut this attack off at the root. As for your skirmishers, they are at full strength and handled themselves admirably in the far field without support. You have taken the Temok. Shit, yeah. Hype. Okay. Soon the entire canyon is a muddle of combat. The only thing that is clear is this: your warriors are prevailing. There is a roar of approval from the soldiers as Kiana and her unit return to the battle. Kiana rides her steed to stand beside yours. You have the battle well in hand, she observes. Worry not, we have left some temok for you. I have done only what I can. No thanks to you. What the fuck? I have done only what I can. We'll be humble at this point. Would that all men wore understatement so well. To your surprise, Kiana maneuvers directly into the fray and dismounts in the midst of the temok. Her speed impressed you during training, but seeing it in action, you are truly amazed. She spins around the temok like a dancer, cutting them down and slipping away, only to return in a dash and attack with the reflexes of the fox. Kiana's gift is unmistakable. But as you stare, transfixed, a wily temok fighter leaps at you from the back of a passing horse, his dagger drawn. Instantly rear my horse back so the attacker tumbles off of it. Catch the leaping attacker and heave him over my head, using his momentum against him. Elbow him forcefully in the helmet to upset his balance. Yeah, of course it's a skill check. I have a feeling if we rear the horse back, that could be bad. There might be like somebody behind me that would get hit. So I'm gonna say not that one. So either 2 or 3. Catch the leaping attacker and heave him over my head using his momentum. Or elbow him forcefully in the helmet. I'm gonna go with number 2, I think. See. As the attacker flies toward you, you use his own movement to tumble him over and away from your mount. When he hits the hard earth, his helmet rolls off. The attacker is Valuckas, the lost boy of your own village. It would have been impossible for him to have known that he was fighting his old companion, but would it have mattered to him if he had? He is a temok now, after all. Got no skill from that. Trample him with my horse. Bury a javelin in his chest. Tell him to run. This was like our best friend, you remember? And it's not just any, he wasn't just any boy from the village, he was our best friend. Hmm. Fuck. I don't give a shit about the gods. You mad, Nintendo? Are you getting mad? I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna go with number 1, because if I trample him, maybe I can just injure him and not kill him, because I don't really want to kill him. Trample him with my horse. Your horse rears up with a pull of your reins and brings its crushing hooves down on your traitorous friend. Then you bring it up and down again, oh god, to deal him a more decisive blow. As you ride away from his body, you can see his eyes are growing distant. Well, I guess we killed him. This was a tragic but necessary act. At the cost deserved what he got, and made the world a safer place. I've already begun to regret my choice. I've already begun to regret my choice. Come on, he was our best friend. There's gonna be some regret. We are human. The Temok begin to flee the camp. As they do, you notice that the strange armor seems to be fleeing as well, in its way. It tarnishes and crumbles from their bodies as they run, as though their retreat itself has broken its spell. Through the clamor, you hear a low voice speak a familiar name. Dagoras, it moans. Dagoras. You look down from your horse and see a dying Temok fighter, squirming in the dust. You lied, Dagoras, he whispers. You dismount and kneel beside the man. What do you know of Dagoras? You ask. The dying Temok looks at you with glassy eyes, only half aware that you are real. Made us a gift of his armor, did Dagoras, he wheezes. Told us it would turn us into true warriors, said his gift would win the battle for the Temok. Change our paths. His breathing is growing thinner, he is fading. So I only get one question to ask here. How could the armor have changed your paths? Did he say why he wanted to change your paths? How did you know the man was Dagoras? He said he took pity on us, for the weavers had destined us to fall to Kalanos. But with the armor, we could change all that, change the course of the battle, undo the champion's path, end it all. End it all? The Temok smiles and closes his eyes. His next word is his last. Destiny. And destiny? Is such a thing even possible? Perhaps it was something Dagoras promised, merely to secure the Temok's support. But then again, had Dagoras' plan come to fruition today, your own life would certainly have ended, and your destiny with it. With that finished, how many other mortal pathways would be likewise thwarted? How many others led astray? Until now, you had no reason to think Dagoras' goals were any greater than sowing turmoil and sorrow. Perhaps he has larger ones in mind. But what else are the gods hiding? But why did the gods not tell me the truth? But I'm sure that the gods had a good reason to protect me from this revelation. See, like right here, I feel like I'm gonna start questioning things. I'm not gonna just blindly believe that the gods are protecting me. Barden wants number 1. But what else are the gods hiding? The injured are being carried off to your camp. Only the dead remain, most of them Temok. You watch as their armor melts off, withering in the sun like fallen leaves. Even their blades are crumbling to dust. Lieutenant Kiana has returned to her horse. She rides to stand beside you. These thieves are faithless creatures, she explains. It will be up to us to bury their fallen. I will take no part. The Temok have aligned themselves with a great enemy, and they should pay the price. Yes, let us begin. We cannot allow such sacrilege to stain our honor. I will take no part. The Temok are like beasts, and their bodies deserve no more respect than their lives. Let us begin, though the creatures hardly deserve it. Will we not add the Temok to the bonfire with our fallen soldiers? Yeah. I go with either 2 or 4. Alright, yeah, number 2. Yes, let us begin. We cannot allow such sacrilege to stain our honor. You join the Kelenos army, digging shallow trenches for the fallen Temok, burying the bodies with silent prayers. You bury Valuckas personally. It seems fitting to complete what you began. By dusk, it is done. Your army returns to camp, carrying Kelenos' dead with them, and that night the bonfire rages in the darkness, lighting passage from Agasa for those who perished here today. But there is another light in the hills tonight, beyond the darkness at the edge of the camp. It is a glowing rectangle near the cliffs, about the size of a small tree. You are about to point out its presence to Lieutenant Kiana when you realize that the light may be intended for your eyes alone. This could be another doorway to Arcadis, like the one you passed through back in Indonesia. You wait for an opportunity to slip away from the camp unnoticed, and then you make your way into the night, drawn toward the red light in the distance. When you are close enough to cross the threshold, you step through and find yourself once more in Hytexa's infernal forge. Hytexa herself sits before you on her throne. You draw closer until you can see her eyes peering at you through her helmet's canine grin. Congratulations, champion. You continue to be a force to be reckoned with, even when faced with Dagoras' meddling. Those Temok fools made it easy for me to do your honor in this way. All thanks is due to the mighty gods, to whom I owe all. No thanks to the mighty gods. Why have you not dealt with your sibling Dagoras and his attempts on my life? I don't know about this one. I'm kinda wanting to go with number 3. Fucking Asonis told us that he would be taking care of this for us. Oh, God, I'm really tempted to do it. Because they made it out to be like, oh, never mind Dagoras. He's not. It's nothing. But now I feel. Alright, I won't do it. I'll go with number 2, but if I get the chance to question the issue about Dagoras, I'm going to. When faced with trials such as yours, destiny alone is not enough to win the fight. That is why your skill is so vital to us. But on to another matter. It is in our thoughts that you have not yet accepted our gift of command, and it is quite possible, given your prowess, that you do not need it. Nevertheless, I offer it to you once more. Man, that fight was free. I don't need that shit. I will refuse politely again. You are kind, but I must not accept this gift. Dagoras has already changed my destiny in ways we cannot know. It must not be further altered. I accept your concerns, Hytexa replies, and it would seem that she does. Hytexa reaches her hand out to you as though to push you backward, and a great wind begins to move you toward the doorway. Before it can carry you away, you realize that you have one more crucial question for the goddess. I wish to know what I can do to stop Dagoras' plan. I wish to know why the gods concealed Dagoras' true purpose from me. I wish to know whether destiny truly can be destroyed as Dagoras hopes. I wish to know what other secrets the gods may be hiding from me. I'm going with number 2. I wish to know why the gods concealed Digoras' true purpose from me. I have learned why Digoras is so preoccupied with my future, you reveal. By striking me off my path, he hopes to unseat destiny itself. That is true. But why did you conceal this from me? Because Digoras' actions are beyond destiny, Vaitexa replies. Just by telling you about them, we would further change your path, and this is the same reason we must now part. The wind grows strong enough to lift you off the floor, and you are carried away through the doorway into the night air. So frustrating. Alright, guys. Gonna take another quick break, and then we'll go for a little bit longer before we stop for the night. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Hang tight. All right. I have no idea what can possibly be happening next. Hopefully, the king approves of our results in this battle and Yeah, who knows what else is gonna happen. Okay. The first day of the journey to Kelanos is a dark one in spirit. Thoughts of the fallen soldiers seem to hang in the air around the riders, but the journey changes character as the caravan draws closer to the city. Then the ashes of the bonfire recede and the taste of victory returns. The soldiers begin to laugh again, to brag again. By the time Kelanos is last in view, the air is one of celebration, not sadness. When you enter the gates, you are greeted by a fall of white petals and the cheer of the crowd. You look up at the people calling from the balconies. They have not yet learned of your great showing on the battlefield, but they will hear of it soon enough, and so will the king. You are one step closer to earning Aralla's love. 4 months later. Chapter 7, I think. Before you is an island on a clear blue sea, floating like a vision under a cloudless sky. Lush verdure on the shoreline sweetens the air. You look around you. You're on a wide, low ship surrounded by sailors. Their oars have been abandoned, and they stand by your side, watching the shore. General Kiana stands among them. You try to remember how you got here, and you look back at the events of the last 4 months, most notably your advancement to lieutenant under General Kiana, your cautious courtship of Norala, which proceeds under the watchful eye of your royal chaperone, your growing fame within the city after your showing in the Temok battle. But even that cannot explain how you would come to be on these strange shores. The more you think about it, the less sense it makes, after all. I've never been on a boat in my life. I would have no way of knowing how to get here. There is no reason for me to journey to the sea. Yeah, I don't know about that. I have no idea. Is this it's supposed to be a dream now? Must be a dream or something, or a vision. I'm just gonna go with I have never been on a boat in my life. And with that thought, the world fades like shadows in sunlight. You awaken with a start, on your bed in your palace chambers. Megrados sits up groggily from his bed on the opposite wall. He eyes you suspiciously and blinks. A dream, you explain. A vision, he corrects. I can see it from the look on your face, from the way what you have seen remains with you, even now. He closes his eyes again. Time will tell if it persists. His snore returns almost immediately to haunt the room. Perhaps he is right. Perhaps your visions have returned. I had hoped for a longer rest before my destiny carried me away again. The weavers are indeed mysterious, but I treasure their riddles. I know that with Norala's love I will be ready to face whatever the weavers have in store for me. I am ready to end these quiet months and return to the fray. By now you have proven yourself as a talented warrior, with a destiny to match your might. Even Dagoras's desperate attempts to undo your fate cannot thwart it. You feel ready for the future, and it is good that you are. For the dream persists just as Megrados predicted it would, night after night. You decide to tell General Kiana about it at the training yard. The waters you describe put me in mind of the Forgotten Sea, she says. It is a treacherous place, one moment serene, the next tumult. Kelanos has lost so many sailors there, only a fool would dare cross it. But there are those who say it is not merely the weather that is to blame. Kiana regales you with some of the myths and rumors that persist about these waters. The stories she tells you are strange and fanciful, especially the one that claims. Alright, which one would I like? Would be the coolest to experience? A giant on an island in the Forgotten Sea keeps a collection of sailors in a cave. A feral wolf made of fire pulls trespassers into the sky above it. A great carnivorous eye hides there in a whirlpool. All of these sound pretty cool. Well, not number one. I don't really like number one. You like number one, Nintendo? I don't know. That seems kind of boring. A feral wolf made of fire or a carnivorous eye? Alright, then feral wolf, then. Feral wolf made of fire pulls trespassers into the sky above it. Yeah, that sounds cool. Hearing these tales, a familiar feeling seizes you. You first experienced it when Megrados told you of the Dimena Pass, and next when the King Tryphon offered you a post in the Kelanos army. Damn it, Lobard. You're always like just 5 seconds too late. Oh well. It is the feeling of destiny taking you by the hand. You and Kiana report to the king the next day. Lieutenant Noralid observes your audience from the wings of the royal chamber, doing her best not to stare at you. Standing before the throne, you recount your vision to the king. He nods excitedly. I trust in this omen, Lycoris. There are none in the city who can doubt that you are beloved by the gods. But there is one obstacle. If we are to fulfill your vision and send a crew into such treacherous waters, I must offer them more than a dream to sail by. And so what do you hope to achieve by conquering the Forgotten Sea? You respond from the heart. Yeah, I know it takes a sec because you're full screen. Alright. What do we hope to achieve? Fulfillment of Agas's destiny for the good of all? An opportunity to prove this warrior's nobility to all the world. Safe journeys by the sea for the people of Kelanos. The pleasure of bringing death to those who dare challenge my power. Respect for the soldiers who would honor my quest with their talents. To beat the weavers at their game of destiny, in which I have been imprisoned. I'm gonna wait for input, no matter, regardless, Nintendo. It's like, I'm sure if you, I mean, you can speed read it all you want, but you know, there's other people reading and listening as well. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. I'd say probably 1, 2, or 3. Safe journeys by sea for the people of Kelanos. Fulfillment of Agas's destiny for the good of all. An opportunity to prove this warrior's nobility to all the world. Respect for the soldiers. The pleasure of bringing death. I don't know. I don't really particularly like any of these options, but I'll go with number 1, I think. Fulfillment of Agas's destiny for the good of all. I'm sure you are right. In conquering the Forgotten Sea, we may even open our city to trade with the eastern lands. Who can say? In time, our sailors may even discover the fabled city of Minodia. What is this Minodia? You quietly ask General Kiana. It borders the eastern lands, she explains in a whisper. Supposedly, the people of Menodia can heal even the ravages of time itself. A myth, of course, but one long treasured by our king and anyone else of advanced age. Hmm. So it's basically the people of Menodia can like the fountain of youth, basically. You'll be given a ship, King Tryphon declares, oblivious to Kiana's aside. It will have space for 50 sailors. General Kiana will accompany you on the journey, and you are free to choose the remainder of your crew how you see fit. You and General Kiana bow together and begin to leave the throne room. I too wish to join the quest, father, calls Lieutenant Norella from the wings, stepping into the presence of the king. I would journey there too, to the Forgotten Sea, with Lieutenant Licarius. I keep changing it. You will do nothing of the sort, Lieutenant, King Tryphon replies. You must stay behind and lead our army. I respectfully request that another mind the army in my stead, Norella suggests. King Tryphon sighs. Then I will make you this bargain, my daughter. Stay here in Kelenos while Licarius follows his quest, and you shall both receive my blessing in marriage upon your return. Lieutenant Norella's defiant look has returned to a kind of confused joy. She ceases her objections. The next day, you and General Kiana assemble your crew. It will consist of yourselves and 48 other sailors handpicked from the brightest talents in your army. But the question is how to train them. General Kiana posits. I forget how you say that. Posit a question. Anyway, this will be formal combat. They must learn. This will not be formal combat. They must learn new techniques. Together, you decide to train your crew how to execute aggressive maneuvers, relentless and unified combat strategies, evasive maneuvers, combat strategies that rely on keeping the enemy at bay or avoiding them, stealthy maneuvers that rely on silence and subterfuge. Fuck, I don't know what. Yeah, because we picked the fucking flaming firewolf that pulls things into the sky. I would guess evasive maneuvers would probably be the best to dodge this as he tries to pull people into the sky. Because yeah, aggressive maneuvers and stealthy maneuvers probably won't work well against this firewolf. I wonder if it'll affect my stats as well. Let's see. I'm pretty much gonna go with evasive maneuvers. Okay, evasive maneuvers then. Oh, there's crew stats now? Aggressive, evasive, stealth. But to learn defensive maneuvers, one must necessarily develop the skills to properly attack the enemy, and so your soldiers develop an auxiliary capacity for aggressive maneuvers. Okay. As for the matter of leadership on this mission, General Kiana is one step ahead of you. She takes you aside after a training session to explain her thinking. I confess I did not believe your talk of destiny at first, Lieutenant Licarius. But after Keval Canyon, I can plainly see that your future is of great import. And not just to yourself, and so, despite my true rank, let yours be foremost aboard this ship, yes? We will be your crew, and your vision will lead us. Strangely, you sense that there is some craft at work behind Kiana's suggestion, but there is no way to know what it is. It is no matter. You long ago accepted that Kiana is a mystery, Indeed, you have lost count of your reasons for thinking her one. Her secret visits to the temple of CYOA, though she never speaks of faith. Her passionate devotion to Kelenos, despite having told you she was born elsewhere. The way her eyes filled with tears just now, at the mention of your destiny. That one just seems weird. Yeah, we'll go with the secret visits. It takes only 2 weeks' time for your crew to reach the edge of the Forgotten Sea. For days after that, it seems you will find nothing there. Its waters are gentle, but one quiet day at noon, the light begins to fade quickly from the sky. A storm forms above you, its clouds thickening before your eyes. The world turns dark outright, and soon your galley is pitching violently. You stand at the steering arm, braving the waves that crash on deck while you call the rhythm to the rowers. They do their best to keep pace, though they can barely hear you over the sound of the storm. They begin to lose their unity, and the ship I think this must be a typo or something, and the ship to grow even more unsteady. You speak your true feelings. Trust in the gods. Faith in their guidance will give you strength to carry on. You are great warriors who need only trust in your own prowess to prevail. Trust in yourself. The gods are only testing you. You must show that you are stronger than they. If you fools die in the storm, your names will be forgotten by time. Well, obviously this is basically a faith. All the questions have to do with faith, except for the last one. Trust in the gods. Faith in their guidance will give you the strength to carry on. As you clutch the steering bar, you sense something strange. The tension from the storm is loosening the rudder in your hands. Indeed, it is as though the storm is not attacking the ship at all, but guiding it. The angry clouds dissipate, and there it is, the island from your dream, on a clear blue sea. Yet its familiarity is no comfort, for even as you approach, you notice that it is surrounded by other vessels. All of them are anchored just offshore and empty. It is a veritable fleet of abandoned ships. This means all the sailors who once piloted these ships are dead. We are in great danger. There's a mystery to be unraveled. There may be allies to be found here. I don't want to go ahead and say danger. I don't know, I feel like there is a mystery to be unraveled is a decent one. We already know what happened. Well, I mean, we have to pretend that we don't know. Yeah, I mean, you're going off, because just by the way things have gone in this story so far, when you pick something, it's kind of telling you what's going to happen in the future, but we're going to be in character. Our character does not know what's going to happen. It was it was a it was basically Kiana was telling our character stories about random like stories and myths about what has happened in the sea. Just because there was one in particular that we paid most attention to, that doesn't really mean that it was our character knows that that will happen, even though we know that will happen. I don't know. I don't think that's how it works. I'm gonna go with it though. The ship stops beside the other empty vessels. You lower the anchor stone with Kiana's help and regard the shore together. There you see something that went unnoticed in your dream, a collection of tall columns on the hilltop and a white tower beside them. You order your crew to disembark, weapons at the ready. While they do, a strange woman begins making her way down from the hilltop. She wears a long robe that comes to a high collar, and she smiles congenially, as though she is welcoming you to a festival. You may put away your weapons, friends. You will find no danger here, only peace. Her manner puts you unpleasantly in mind of the way Churros' father would talk to his sheep. Harmless as she seems, it is as though the woman sees you as less than human. What is this place? To whom do we owe the pleasure? Come no closer, or this day shall be your last. To whom do we owe the pleasure? I am Sarpeda, and this is my island, where I live in peace with my sweet friends. Friends? You mean the sailors from these forgotten ships? They are just up the hill. Like you, they are hardy specimens, but I have always said that those who travel the sea are the finest examples of the physical form. Come and meet them. Come to the gallery. Her eyes seem to glow faintly, drawing your own gaze to them like whirlpools. You can see that the sailors standing close to the stranger are already beginning to gather around her, nodding obediently. Already more than half the crew seems to be in her power. Even Kiana is in her thrall. Order the unaffected sailors to make a stampeding attack on the woman. Subtly gesture for the unaffected sailors to sneak with you into the woods to escape the creature's influence. Pretend that you are likewise charmed by the creature's power. Nintendo, come on. Obviously, I know when the skill check is going on. But I don't know, we practiced evasive fighting techniques. Not evading a person. I don't know if we choose number 2. I think that would actually go under the stealth, which is our worst. We could go aggressive, since we have some aggressive. But what would pretending be? Would that be evasive? Because obviously this one's stealth. This one's aggressive, so pretending, would that count as evasive maybe? Hmm. I don't know. You think the pretending is the worst? I don't know, because I think doing this, we're basically abandoning all the other soldiers that are already in her power. At least if I pretend and I go with her, we're not abandoning everybody, and maybe I can wait for a moment that this woman is unaware, and I can just take her out myself. Okay. Well, we'll coin flip then for 2 or 3. And if you don't like it, you can go buy the game and do it your way, Nintendo. Oh wait, I guess we have to figure out which one's which first. Tails 2, heads 3. The heads or tails? I can't tell. Stupid glare. I think it's tails. No, it's heads. No, it's heads. Alright. I think I said heads. I don't even remember which ones I said. I think I said heads 2, tails 3. So we'll go with 2. Hope you're happy, Nintendo. You and the sailors attempt to slip away into the forest, but your escape is noticed by those under Sarpeda's power. They begin to attack their own crew members. Rather than let your own crew destroy itself, you command the unpossessed to retreat into the trees with you. Do not bother following them, Sarpeda advises her sailors. They are doomed. Then she raises a finger toward the sky and spins it in a slow circle. At once a dark cloud forms in the heavens, spreading its tendrils in the direction of the forest. Now come along with Sarpeda, my sweet friends. Come with her to the gallery. The others follow her as she makes her way back up to the path to the columns. The storm Sarpeda has conjured above you begins to rumble and churn. A single sinister cloud in an otherwise clear sky. A jagged blast of lightning snaps down from it and splits a tree near your party. Another blast comes down and sets fire to a nearby bush. You are now certain of the cloud's deadly intent, but you notice that it has already faded slightly since the witch conjured it. Perhaps if you can outlast its attacks, it will be no more. Order my sailors to flee in separate directions to defuse the storm's attack. Order the sailors to hide in the trees. No, where the storm cannot find them. Personally draw the storm to me and away from my sailors. Yeah, 1 or 3. I'm kind of wanting to go with number 3 here. Because even if I do have my... Because, I don't know. Even if I do order them to flee in separate directions, they... Still not sure how it'll end up. But if I personally draw it to me, maybe I can actually save all of them. Because I'm pretty sure even if we do this, that's not all of them will be safe. I want to try it because I would like to have a nice one-on-one battle as well. Though maybe that's not a great idea. Fuck, I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna draw it to me. Fuck it. Fuck it. You decide to put yourself in harm's way rather than endanger your crew. You run into an open field and wait for the oozing cloud to redirect itself toward you. This it does, as though it can sense your presence. You dodge and leap through the forest, while it pulls itself through the sky like a faceless beast, raining lightning. In time it draws too close to you, and its lightning begins to set fire to the nearby trees. You conceal yourself in the underbrush, hoping to avoid it that way, but it sends down a caustic rain to force you from your hiding place. Thankfully, your body resists this attack. In time, the storm dissipates and the sky is clear again by dusk. You return to your crew and together make your way to the hilltop. You ascend carefully toward the building that Sarpeda calls her gallery. You cast your powerful sight high above it, where you find the witch herself, watching the horizon from a tower. Her glowing eyes send twin beams far across the sea, as she searches for more ships to draw to her island. Must enter the gallery from the woods, you tell your crew, otherwise the witch will surely see us. The rest of your crew is in the gallery, along with many other sailors, but it appears their bodies have been turned to pale stone from head to toe. They stare blankly ahead, posing with their weapons amidst the columns. But, immobile as they are, you are sure they live. You can see that the statues farther back in the gallery have aged, and that others still farther back have died. All while preserved in stone. No doubt Sarpeda is draining their life to bolster her own. You seek out Kiana's statue from the crowd and stand before it. Can you call her back to life with only words? Kiana, do not betray the gods. They have much work yet for us to do. Kiana, my friend, I implore you to return to me. Kiana, you are a lazy fool, unworthy of your position in my crew. Arise, you pathetic worm. Yeah. Nothing happens, so you try a different tack. Kiana, you repeat. Kiana, my good friend. Come back, it is I, Valuckas. The color returns to her face, quickly spreading to the entire statue. Her stone limbs begin to move, as she takes an unsteady step forward, she is returned entirely to flesh. How came I to be here? She asks, bewildered. And where's the boat? You explain the peculiar situation to your companion, relating your escape into the woods, and your crew's encounter with Sarpeda's deadly spell. But what is this Sarpeda? Kiana asks. A mortal of the first age, you explain, like the dweller in the Dimina Pass before her. She has hidden from the gods for centuries, prolonging her life by feeding on the unwary. But come, we must free her other prisoners before she notices our presence. You stand before the transformed sailors from your crew. How will you use your words to awaken them? Well, the gods thing didn't work. So, tell them that I cannot defeat Sarpeda without their help. Warn them not to let the cruel weavers subject them to this fate. Convince them that they are already home in Kelenos and ready to step through its gates. I guess number one. I cannot defeat Sarpeda without their help. Granicos, Adelpha, Cleitus, sailors of Kelenos, awake, I beg you. Only you can rescue our hopes of defeating this enemy. You are heroes, one and all, and I depend on your valor. Little by little, the color returns to their flesh, and the statues begin to move. Even some sailors who were not on your boat have been freed. But not everyone is liberated. Of the sailors who came before you, many remain imprisoned in stone. And if Sarpeda's gifts are anything like Cybos's, this means that you have not deprived her of all her power. That will be quite enough, my sweet friend. You turn to find that Sarpeda has descended from the tower. She steps to the center of the gallery and raises her hand to the heavens. Those who would not give their lives unto me shall have them taken. A great cloud forms directly above Sarpeda. Lightning courses within it, like vipers poised to strike. Sarpeda points to Erythian, and the sailor is instantly incinerated. It seems this new storm of Sarpeda's is under her direct control. You withdraw deeper into the gallery to find shelter, as Sarpeda's deadly lightning bolts begin striking the columns around you. How do we defeat this witch? Asks Kiana. She draws magic from the very sky. You are wrong, Kiana. The source of her magic is much closer. He pointed the statues, which age before your eyes as Serpeda's spell drains the life from them. Surely attacking them would be the most decisive way to end this battle quickly, but it would mean sacrificing the people still imprisoned in the stone. He ordered the sailors to sneak between the columns in a surprise attack on Serpeda, to charge ahead in a combined rush at the witch, to draw the Serpeda's attacks by dodging behind the columns until I can fell the witch with a throw of my spear, to begin smashing the remaining statues en masse. Evasive was the worst thing to train for this fight. Well, we did it though, so we're gonna stick with it. Draw Serpeda's attacks by dodging behind columns. Your crew dodges behind the columns, drawing Serpeda's attacks, but also distracting her. Some unfortunates fall to her lightning, but you know you must hide and wait for the ideal moment. Finally, you let your spear sail at her heart. The weapon strikes home, and Serpeda falls backward, screeching like a buzzard. Before she can crawl away to heal herself, the other sailors have descended upon her with weapons. When you feel they have rendered her helpless, you order them to back away. You step forward and behold the witch, almost unrecognizable for her injuries. She cackles breathlessly. You have done well, sailors of Kelenos. I can no longer fight you, not with wounds like these. She winces in pain and raises one hand to the storm. But in my gallery there is power enough yet to leave you something to remember me by. The statues nearest the witch wither to corpses, followed by the fiend herself. From their bodies a sickly green mist begins to rise, coalescing into a cloud, and floating out to sea. It seems to speak to you in an ominous whisper. Remember me to Kelenos. But you regard the gallery. All the statues have turned back to flesh now, for better or worse. Those that still contain life have become sailors again. The others are merely desiccated corpses now, long ago drained by Serpeda. They must receive the right if they're to ever truly rest. You and the other survivors bury them in the forest, giving them the honor Serpeda would not. As for the corpse of Serpeda, I thought she withered into dust or something. I must likewise bury it if I'm to respect the rights of my people. I must likewise bury it if I'm to make certain Serpeda is gone forever. I will deny Serpeda rest as repayment for her crimes and let her body rot here. Well, with the other sorcerer, we burned his body. We didn't bury it. But I guess maybe we're talking about her ashes right now, since it said that she was put into ash. I guess we can bury her ashes. With these newly liberated sailors along for the journey home, your party proves too large to fit on your boat, but it is no matter. You simply commandeer a larger vessel from Serpeda's collection and leave the old one here. Perhaps Niden will take it for an offering. I don't know, I feel like that green mist she sent out, it like probably went to Kelenos and is like killing the whole city, or killing the king. Favorable winds bring you to Kelenos in little over than 2 weeks. When it comes into view, you fully expect to find it ravaged by Serpeda's storm. Thankfully, the city appears unharmed. But there is an eerie serenity about the place, even when viewed from the sea. Megrados meets your crew as you disembark, with 2 royal guards standing beside him. There is great sorrow in his eyes. I bet she's dead. What is wrong, Megrados, you ask? He ignores your words as though they have gone unheard. Tell me of your journey, he says. We will walk together to the palace. You and General Kiana follow him, while the crew busies itself with unburdening of your vessel. Were you successful then? Megrados asks. Did you find the secret of the Forgotten Sea? You tell Megrados of the storm that brought you to Sarpeda's island and the terrible things you found in her gallery. Megrados nods and listens, but his eyes remain far away. As you walk together, the strangeness you sense from the shores of Kelanos becomes a bit more plain. The streets, which appeared empty from the water, are just as empty as you walk down them. You can hear sounds of the wind and nearby birds. Where once you heard the sounds of music, movement, and conversation. Finally, you can bear it no longer. You ask Megrados, why is the city so quiet? Where have all the people gone? Why does your face betray such sorrow? Megrados speaks with some difficulty. I cannot tell you. You must see what has happened for yourself. When you come to the palace, you will understand. A single guard stands at the gates, her eyes as weary and sorrowful as Megrados's. Then, even before you have reached the throne room, you see them. Citizens lying on their backs in the corridors of the palace, 2 by 2, their eyes shut, their limbs flaccid. They are as still as corpses, Kiana remarks. How did this happen? A plague from the sea, Megrados explains. Born from the north, and of a strange hue besides. The citizens took it for a mist from the tides. They thought nothing of it, and they fell one by one into sleep within minutes. The king and the others in the palace hid themselves away when we realized this was happening. Many citizens were not so fortunate. Kiana looks in your eyes. Perhaps Sarpeda's storm has laid Kalanos to waste, after all. Megrados leads you silently to the king's great hall. There, laid out like an honored corpse, is the body of Princess Norala. The maudlin King Tryphon sits vigil beside her, looking much older than he did when you first left for the Forgotten Sea. She was in the training yard when it happened, King Tryphon recounts. I ordered her to be brought here. I have been by her side ever since. Their hearts are slowing, Megrados whispers in your ear, and they will continue to do so. The Otis seem to be dying first. They are all gone, but in time, none of the sleepers will survive. There must be a way. There is one shred of hope left, King Tryphon says. Menodia, the island of the healers. It is merely a story, my king, General Kiana sighs. There are records of its existence, King Tryphon insists. The Forgotten Sea was the only hindrance to our learning the truth. The king's eyes, filled with need, turn to yours. The Menodians could help us in this dark hour, and you are just the one to find them. One look in the king's eyes and you know you have no choice. But with that knowledge comes a terrible realization. If your journey to Menodia is destined, then so too was this plague. And unlike the meddling of Dagoras, this is a tragedy that was meant to happen. All of it was part of the Weaver's plan. I am sure the Weavers have a higher purpose in mind. I will never forgive the Weavers for this. The Weavers have made a puppet of me, and I can only dance from their strings. I'm sure the Weavers already have plans to rescue us from this peril. You really want to go to number 3, Nintendo? Ugh. I don't know, I think we should go with number 4. We're already in this deep. I'm sure the Weavers already have plans to rescue us from this peril. You embark the next morning for Mendodia. You have no way of knowing where it truly is, only that it lies beyond the forgotten sea. But as you did when you set forth from your village, you must trust your destiny above all. The waters you crossed seem to carry you along more quickly, or perhaps it is only a trick of your memory. You cannot be sure, for you have stopped keeping count of the days. You are far too preoccupied thinking of Narala, without whose love I would be lost. Kelenos, the city that depends on me to save it. Minodia, and whether it even exists. And we will end here for tonight. Gosh. Hope you guys are all enjoying the story so far. It's definitely full of action. A very actiony story. Not a whole lot of character development, just constant action. But I'm enjoying it. Even though every time we get something, it gets taken away just as quickly. Honestly, I'm thinking, like, I know we're supposed to be taking out all these sorcerers and things like that, but I don't know. I feel like this is just too much. Chlorina, Darude, Sandstorm. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think after this, if these people all die, I'm going to start like being more defiant. Because I don't know. The gods really don't seem to be helping all that much. Sure, they healed my mother. That's the only thing they've done after all this bullshit that has happened with Daggeros and now this plague. They better have something to make up for this. It could still happen. Alright guys, I'm gonna take off for the night. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to keep along with it, make sure you follow the stream so you are notified when I go live next, or follow me on Twitter. Either way works. Yeah, we'll continue this tomorrow. Peace out.